Good afternoon, and welcome to the beautiful Anacostia River that you have behind us. I'd like to start by thanking the more than 50 folks that came out this morning to work on restoring this beautiful living shoreline, this wetland over here. So thank you all for coming out today. I'd also like to recognize the Earth Conservation Corps, which is the state affiliate for Washington, D.C. of the National Wildlife Federation, whose facility we are at right now. So if I can recognize Brenda and Bob and the whole team from ECC, if you guys can raise your hands and give a wave to everybody. My name is Colin O'Mara. I'm the president and CEO of the National Wildlife Federation, America's largest conservation organization with almost 6 million members across the country, and we love clean water. Whether it's for my 3-year-old daughter that drinks it every day, whether it's for the bass and the shad that we go fishing for, whether it's just to have great habitat and great places to recreate, clean water matters to all of us. And so today we have a great program of speakers that you'll be hearing from, and I am so excited to be with you. So let's give one quick round of applause for clean water really quick. So first up in our program today is the leader, the managing director of the White House Council on Environmental Quality, Christy Goldfuss. Christy has done a remarkable job throughout this administration, first for the National Park Service as a deputy director, trying to get every kid into America's parks. And right now she's leading the president's effort for clean air, clean water, and open spaces. So Christy, come on up here.
Thank you, Colin. Hello, everyone, and this is a really good afternoon. Good afternoon for clean water and to celebrate a major action here by the administration. We're here to talk about the Clean Water Rule and the administration's efforts to finalize it, which is a huge win for public health and the economy. We can't talk about this, at least I can't talk about this, without thinking of my 2 kids who frequently play right up the river here at Anacostia at the Yards Park. I have a 2-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son. And the action that we're taking today is really about ensuring they have the ability to turn on the faucet and have a clean drink of water into the future. They have the opportunity to recreate and play all across America at our open waterways. And this is really about what all Americans expect for their families, not just all of us standing here today. So I also want to give a huge shout out to Administrator McCarthy and Joellen Darcy. They have led a tremendous effort talking to Americans in the business community, in the sportsman community, and all across this country about what's important to them when it comes to clean water. And here's the simple fact. They've discovered this rule reflects that clean water matters to the American people and it's worth protecting. For more than 40 years, the Clean Water Act has helped our families have safe and healthy drinking water, but conflicting court decisions in recent years have made many of our waters vulnerable to pollution and led to uncertainty and delay that's bad for businesses. And as a result of these cases, Americans now get drinking water from streams that lack clear protection. So I'm going to let the administrator and Joellen speak to the specifics of this rule. But what we are here to celebrate today is that we are restoring protections for 1/3 of Americans' drinking waters, and that this is our responsibility to deliver that for them. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for all of your efforts to bring us here today. This is a huge opportunity for all Americans, and we thank you.
Good. Thanks so much, Christy. The importance of clean water and the Anacostia as the lifeblood of this part of DC cannot be overstated. 22 years ago, the Earth Conservation Corps came together to try to get kids from the neighborhood engaged, employed, working on cleaning up this river. And I'm going to introduce a very special individual, a guy named Donovan Midkiff, who's been a leader in this effort from the neighborhood. He's been working with our great folks, the National Wildlife Federation, like Jan Goldman-Carter and many others that you know. But there are folks from this neighborhood that if you looked at the pictures 20 years ago, you would not recognize this waterway that you're sitting on right now. And it's because of folks like Donovan over the previous generation. Donovan's been working on cleaning up trash, been working on building terrapin habitat, incredible project. So Donovan, come on up here for a second.
Good afternoon and welcome to Earth Conservation Corps. My name is Donovan Midkiff and I am a team leader on the watershed restoration team here at Earth Conservation Corps. Glad to see all of you here for our summer kickoff program. The more people I see coming out for these events, the happier I become. Our river has been sustaining us and taking care of us for hundreds of years. We have trampled and abused her for far too long. I think it is past due to give back and help her heal from all the abuse we have doled out. Before I speak any further, I need to thank Earth Conservation Corps for providing me with a way to give back to the river. Growing up, that was always a thought in my mind. I wanted to save the river. This is a monumental task that no one person can achieve. Since I have been a member of Earth Conservation Corps, I have become a part of a team working to save the river. In closing, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Robert Nixon, the chair of the Earth Conservation Corps, as well as the National Wildlife Federation and the EPA administrator for their brilliance and stewardship in protecting our clean water resources. Thank you.
Good job, buddy. Good job. No, great job, Donovan. Thanks. Thanks so much. Now, we've talked a little bit already about the importance of clean water for drinking and for habitat, but it's also important for something else. That's beer. And so our next speaker is an incredible businessman. That's Ike Brodus, the owner of Old Bust Head Brewery in Vint Hill, Virginia. He's here not just representing his great business that he started with his wife a few years ago, but also on behalf of Brewers for Clean Water, a group of craft breweries across the entire country who advocate on behalf of Clean Water Act protections and incorporating water-saving practices into their brewing operations. So thank you for all that you do, Ike.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you all. It's a real honor to be with you here today. My love for clean water started as a young boy canoeing the Potomac River from the headwaters all the way down to its tidal waters. I have fond memories of fishing, swimming, crabbing, oystering, and sailing on our beloved Chesapeake Bay just downstream a bit. As a co-owner of Old Bust Head Brewing Company, which we opened a little over a year ago, I'm driven by those early experiences. Water is, of course, the backbone of our lives, but it's also the backbone of the brewing industry. Small breweries employ over 110,000 people in the U.S. today. These jobs, which can't be outsourced, range from brewers to biochemists, from sales to human resources and everything in between. These are good, stable jobs at growing companies, which in many cases have become the key to revitalization in their communities. Even as a new business, we chose to embrace Brewers for Clean Water initiative for several reasons. First, we believe that every business must do its part. At OBH, our investments in water conservation have resulted in a usage rate of 24% below the industry average. That's good, but we can do a lot better. We believe that creating good jobs, being profitable, and being environmentally friendly do not have to be mutually exclusive goals. Second, brewers have a special connection with water. It's critical to the farmers who grow our barley. It's essential for keeping our equipment clean and sanitary. And of course, water is the principal ingredient of beer. Without clean water, we cannot make good beer. And without good beer, a lot of people would be sad. And finally, it's clear to us that abundant clean water is something we can no longer take for granted. It does us no good to leave our children a thriving business if simultaneously we leave them a deteriorating planet. To that end, Old Bust Head will always strive to do our part, and we're grateful for the work you're all doing to make clean water and good beer available for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin. Good. Thanks, Ike. Thank you for everything that you and your wife do. Next up, I have the privilege of introducing a senior official from the Obama administration. Throughout her career, has been a tireless champion for clean water and smart ecological restoration. From spending time on the Hill as one of the senior leaders on the Environment and Public Works Committee to the last 7 years as the Assistant Secretary of the Army for Civil Works, Joellen Darcy has been a tireless champion for clean water, and we'd like to bring her up right now.
Thank you, Colin. And thanks, everybody, for being here. And in particular, thank you to the Conservation Corps for hosting us today, and also to my friend and colleague and partner in crime here, Gina McCarthy. Today is a culmination of about 6 years of work. We started this when looking at the Clean Water Rule when this president first came into office. And here we are today finalizing this clean water rule. We work together within the administration and also with everybody who's interested in clean water, from industry to NGOs to states and local governments and academia and scientists. And that's why we're here today, because we've worked together and because we all care about the quality of our water. Most of the people in the United States, we deliver 44 billion, that's billion with a B, gallons of water every day to our companies, to our businesses, to our households. But these water resources are not limitless. So we need to protect them and we need to conserve them. And that's what this rule today is going to help us do. It's going to provide greater predictability. It's going to provide consistency and more effectiveness on how we protect this very precious resource. By adopting this rule, we're giving clean water to the next generation. I saw the next generation out here when I walked in here today, looking at some of the things that they found in the river today. And when I was their age, there wasn't a Clean Water Act. Tells you how old I am, but the next generation is going to be able to look to this rule today and be able to say that we helped to preserve the clean water for them and also for generations to come. Today, all over the country, people are enjoying water. They're enjoying it not only for drinking and cleansing, but also recreation. Look at out here, we've got boats. You may not know this, but the Army Corps of Engineers is the largest provider of outdoor water-based recreation in the United States of America. We get over 370 million visitors a year. So clean water, for many reasons, is important not only to the Corps, but to all of us. And so that we continue to have that opportunity that we are blessed with in this country to have this valuable resource that we need to continue to protect. And this rule today will help us to continue to do that. We've got a responsibility. I think we've stepped up to that responsibility to be able to ensure clean water for the future generations and for all of us to enjoy, and also to be proud that the future of this resource will be valued for generations to come. So thank you very much.
Thanks. Well, thank you, Secretary Darcy. We've talked a little bit about the importance of water to public health. We've talked about it to the importance of business, but it's also really important to the tens of millions of hunters and anglers across the country, a lot of which groups are represented here today. It's my privilege to introduce Mike Bailey, who's a lifelong angler and has done incredible work on the Potomac River. So the Anacostia actually flows into the Potomac River, as many of you know. And there's a little place called Fletcher's Cove, which has some of the best bass and shad fishing that you'll ever see in this part of the country. So let me introduce Mike to talk a little bit about the importance of fishing.
Thank you. I'm Mike Bailey, and I'm honored to be here this afternoon to share with what clean water has meant to me. I began fishing the Potomac River and the streams that feed into it in the 70s. What I saw at first was a river that had just begun a slow transformation. Its smelly banks and shorelines were mostly void of grass and other habitat, but it was rapidly changing before my eyes. As the cover, insects, birds, and fish began returning, I was witnessing the rebirth of our nation's river and finding bigger fish. The Clean Water Act was helping improve everything along these rivers. Washington has many secrets. I'll let you in on one of mine. It's Fletcher's Cove. It's a small boathouse about 5 miles from here on the shores of the Potomac River. I was introduced to the boathouse in the spring and took advantage of the shad run and stripe run some 30 years ago. Fletcher's is a place that will always marvel me. At the boathouse, I met a leading environmentalist in his time. Some of you may remember him. His name was Jim Range. We began fishing together a lot. It was Jim who said I must advocate for the Potomac. I said as long as there was fishing involved, I was okay with it. Since then, I fished with senators, foreign diplomats, and some of the most powerful advocates in Washington. What they have seen is what I see every day, a magical world of osprey, herons, eagles, shad, and some of the biggest striped bass you could imagine. Really big. That's what clean water provides for me, the people of Washington, and many other cities where clean rivers run through. Once again, thanks to the Clean Water Act. Let's not forget the great group of friends who work at Fletcher's, who are part of the sport fishing economy that yields more than 800,000 jobs and $50 billion in retail sales, help sustaining our great economy. So if you really want to get your soul nurtured and feel your spirit soar, just go fishing. Those are the real values of clean water that I'm very pleased to share with you today. Thanks for the opportunity just to highlight a few of them. I would also like to thank the EPA and the Army Corps of Engineers for their work on the Clean Water Rule. This rule will strengthen the Clean Water Act and protect our rivers and streams that we cherish and utilize. I'm sure Jim Range will be thanking you too.
Thank you so much, Mike. Our last speaker truly needs no introduction, but I'm going to give her one anyway. There is no more tireless champion of clean water, clean air, and healthy soils in this entire country than Gina McCarthy. From her time in Massachusetts into Connecticut and over the last 7 years of this administration, she has worked tirelessly, bringing incredible common sense, pragmatism, and just a determination to clean up this entire country. Let's give a big round of applause for my friend, Gina McCarthy.
Here's my first question. Are you guys cooked enough that you'd really like to have a nice, clean glass of drinking water? Ike, beers, please, for everyone on me. Colin, first of all, when I was walking out here, I saw a poster on the wall, and it said, a clean Anacostia River doesn't need to just be a dream. Because of your work and Bill's and everyone here, we're turning that into a reality. We're turning it into a reality. And I want to thank you for all of your incredibly tireless efforts. You're a good friend and a tremendous colleague. And I think what we're trying to do with this clean water rule and what we are succeeding in doing is not just turning it into a reality here, but we're making it a promise throughout the United States. So I know you've heard a whole... This is just... has anyone figured out on the TV that this is an urban watershed? These are not geese honking, folks. That is not a big, huge blue heron. I feel like, well, there's a lot going on, and you can still have a beautiful waterway. That's, I guess, the point of all this. But you've heard a whole lot of litany of reasons why that clean water matters. We need it for our healthy wildlife, for opportunities in our neighborhoods, for healthy cities like this, for recreation, and not least, delicious beer. Pick your choice. I go with last before first. The work young people do every day, as you see here, to restore the Anacostia River is just a tremendous reminder to us all of the simple fact that rivers and lakes we love, we just can't let them get polluted. We have to pay attention to these streams and wetlands that feed into these waterways, because if they're not clean, this will not be either. And 1 in 3 Americans get drinking water from streams and wetlands that lack clear protection up till yesterday. That's why EPA and the Army Corps, and Joellen, I want to thank you and your team, and I want to thank my team for spending countless hours together and separately to make this happen. It is quite a feat, and it's been many decades in the making. We are finalizing a rule that's going to protect these streams and wetlands, and it's not just our health. Without clean water, businesses grind to a halt. A reality too many businesses owners faced in Toledo just last year when a local drinking water became contaminated. Then it became an economic problem. It is already, it just became so apparent to most of us. From manufacturing and energy production to agriculture, to food service, to tourism and recreation, major sectors of our economy all depend on clean water to function and to flourish, just like us. Our rule will also help communities adapt to climate impacts, which the President and Brian Deese and Christie are working tirelessly on, impacts that threaten us like droughts, storms, and floods. But if we protect these rivers and streams, we will be trapping those flood waters before they can damage our communities. We will be retaining the moisture during drought so that California will be able to buy the time it needs to ensure safe drinking water, and will be able to filter the pollution that is threatening our drinking water. With states like California in the midst of a historic drought and many Great Plains states facing historic flooding all at the same time, it's more important than ever that we protect our streams and our wetlands in the face of a climate that is changing. So our rule does all this without affecting any of the exclusions and exemptions for agriculture. It cuts red tape and it gives industry certainty about what the law does, what it does not do, what it covers, and we are extraordinarily proud of this rule. And with that, I want to sign this on behalf of the many, many people who worked tirelessly, on behalf of the President who put out a statement in support of this rule. It is his leadership and those on down into the career staff in our agencies who care more deeply about clean water than any of us and work tirelessly every single day to deliver it. This is all for you guys. Thank you. Should we go? We're going to sign this thing in case anybody would be interested.